The Kuwait royal family is rumored to be one of the wealthiest in the world. Nonetheless, they are able to spend millions of dollars on things like jewels, luxury automobiles, and castles without attracting the attention of the media. But how did the royal family ascend to the throne? How many businesses do they have and how did they get there? In contrast to the other nations that make up the Gulf Cooperation Council, Kuwait is ruled by a royal dynasty and the National Assembly. This political framework cannot be seen anywhere else in the world. The Kuwait royal family possesses a greater amount of authority compared to the other representative bodies in the Gulf Cooperation Council. The family has been in power for more than 5 centuries. So where did it all start? Let's take a flashback to 1750. This was the time a severe famine drove the Sabah and Khalifa people out of Hadar, which is located in the central region of Arabia, and ultimately out of their native homeland. This gave rise to a group of Central Arabian tribes known as the UTHBI, wanderers, who eventually relocated to Qatar and participated in the pearl fishing industry there. Prior to the 1760s, there were 3 families that shared control of the government. The Al-KHALIFA of Bahrain dominated the pearl fishery and commerce, while the al-Jalahima were in charge of maritime matters and the administration of the local government. After the departure of the 2 families from Kuwait in the 1760s, the al-sabah, the Kuwait family, were finally able to seize full control of the country. They were able to maintain their rule for another half-century since there was no opposition from other countries. Even yet, an Egyptian invasion of Arabia against the WAHABI movement in the early 1800s led to heavy-handed attempts by the Egyptians to grab control of the waters of the Gulf. However, they were unsuccessful. In 1938, oil was discovered in the region for the very first time, and this led to the rise of the Kuwait royal family. As a result of the sale of oil, Kuwait was enjoying a revenue that far exceeded the expectations of any Kuwaiti. Annual profits from the sale of oil were anticipated to be in the range of $150 million, and the Kuwait royal family benefited greatly from this. Education expanded rapidly, and technological advancement occurred at an accelerated rate. New ministries and departments of the state were established in every sector of the economy. In 1963, not much more than a year after the nation achieved its independence, the very first elected parliament was convened. This parliament has been leading Kuwait together with the Kuwait royal family since then. So, how does royal family run Kuwait? After Kuwait achieved its independence, Sheikh Abdullah al-Salam al-Sabah was elevated to the position of emir, becoming the country's first ruler. The emir of Kuwait is selected by the family council, which is chaired by an older member of the family. The family council is also responsible for making nominations for the Crown Prince of Kuwait, and the nominee must be a senior member of the al-Sabah family to be considered. The emir and the Crown Prince of Kuwait both need approval from the Kuwaiti parliament. Mishal al-ahmad al-Jabr al-Sabah, who is currently the Crown Prince of Kuwait, was born in Kuwait in the year 1940. He is the eldest son of the 10th ruler of Kuwait, Ahmad al-Jabr al-Sabah, and Maryam Merit al-Hawaii. Even though Mishal al-Sabah acknowledges that Kuwait has more democratic systems in place than other Gulf states, he nevertheless maintains that the monarchy is not democratic at its very foundation. The distribution of oil revenue to the people of Kuwait by the government in the form of social and economic benefits is essentially the same as buying them off. It is also important to note that al-Sabah argues that Kuwait has a great deal of room for improvement and that the country has the potential to act as an example for other nations in the region. If necessary, changes are initiated at the highest levels of government. And that's why it breaks down to the fact that al-Sabah contends that preserving freedom of speech, civil rights, and political accountability is the key to achieving a more just and productive society. But you now might be wondering, how did they earn their fortune? According to estimates, the net worth of the family is pegged at $360 billion. At the present time, the al-Sabah family, often known as Kuwait's royal family, is the second richest royal family in the world. Although the Kuwaiti family is smaller than the Qatari family, they have a greater wealth invested in the stock market. Since the 1990s, the value of these companies and shares has increased by a factor of 4. As a consequence of this, they hold the position of the largest shareholder in the vast majority of the United States' most recognizable and successful blue-chip companies. The family has accumulated tens of billions of wealth through its ownership of companies, including Citibank, Daimler AG, and Merrill Lynch. Since the beginning of Kuwait's history, members of the Kuwait family have adhered to the custom of living a private life away from all the cameras and publicity unless necessary. The International Consortium of Investigative Journalists leaked documents for the purpose of investigation. These documents were obtained as part of the so-called Pandora Papers project, which has been shared with a large number of publishers all over the world. This is where leaks of millions of documents from legal offices about tax havens were made public as part of the largest international media cooperative project. The leaking of the Pandora Papers has shed light on the unstoppable train Kipko, which was owned by the late Emir and his sons. KIPO is a holding company that was established in 1975 and is a conglomerate that works in the Middle East and North Africa region. The corporate empire is involved in a variety of industries, including real estate, the media, manufacturing, and financial services. According to the website for KIPO, the company is comprised of more than 60 different businesses and employs more than 16,000 people in 24 different countries. And now, what are some of the favorite acquisitions that they've made over the years? The family has a number of pleasures, and one of them is spending their money building extravagant castles. According to Architectural Digest, the Darner is considered to be among the most valuable of the family's assets. The Darner collection includes more than 500 individual works of art created by painters from all over the world. This home is one of several that the family owns. They also own the Marrakech Palace, which is a 17,000 square meter property created by SHEIKAH MAZDA and cost $3 million. It is surrounded on all sides by picturesque views of the Atlas Mountains and charming olive trees. This house was reportedly bought because of the health of SHEIKAH al-sabah. There is an enormous tennis court, a gigantic cinema, as well as a butler's and maid's staff wing. The magnificent convention center that the palace is home to is one of the reasons why it is usually featured on the top page of the newspapers. Additionally, the family enjoys spending money on high-end autos. The Antique, Vintage, and Classical Automotive Museum in Kuwait is where the family keeps their collection of automobiles. The museum is filled with automobiles that were formerly owned by members of the royal family of Kuwait. These vehicles are currently on exhibit for the general public to view. The museum's collection of cars is the only thing that deviates from the cultural nature of the family. One of the cars you can find here includes a one-of-a-kind Porsche 911 Turbo S. The exterior is a vanilla gold color, while the inside boasts two-tone leather in orange and yellow wood interior accents, plus a plethora of extra Porsche exclusive amenities. Nasser al-Mohammed al-Sabah purchased this vehicle, and it cost a whopping $888,888. If the fact that he is a prince of Kuwait wasn't enough to attract notice, then this vehicle most certainly would. When it comes to demonstrating their financial muscle, the family's assets include more than just automobiles. And guess what? According to a story published by Business Insider, President Trump said that he was jealous of the big private jets owned by the Kuwait family. The emir has never disclosed to the general public how much money his private plane is worth. Nevertheless, if Trump's plane is worth $100 million and it is smaller than what the emir owns, imagine how much the emir's plane must set you back. Well, let's all agree who wouldn't love to be in such a family. Whether it be their profits from oil or capitalizing on the stock market, it looks like their unparalleled wealth won't be disappearing anytime soon. They are quite commendable. Anyway, what do you think about Kuwait's royal family's lifestyle? If you like this, check out some of the videos on screen. You won't be disappointed. See you there.